So we got this person asking us, Reed. They've tried the New York session, but I'm assuming they live in Hawaii and they just can't manage the time because we got to wake up, 3, 4 o'clock a.m. They want to get into the Asian market because they could work that time zone. They could trade that time zone. London is a bit too late, right? Because it's been starting 10 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So what would you recommend this person do, or how would they approach that? If they're trying to make the switch from New York, they want to go to Asia, like what exactly categorizes Asia session? Is there multiple overlaps?
Yeah. So
What
like
should,
just to clarify the sessions, like here in Hawaii, we have three major sessions that we trade. It's the New York 3:30 a.m. right now and or 4:30 a.m. during daylight savings. And it sounds like this trader tried it and it's just not working for their lifestyle, which is what we always preach. If a certain session isn't fitting your lifestyle, make trading fit your lifestyle. You don't always have to put trading in a box and like have to fit your life to trading. It's very flexible, that it's more flexible than people realize. And then sounds like that London session's a little too late. And for London, Glenn already just knocked that out. But for Asia sessions, so specifically the Asia session, and the Asia session encompasses Australia, New Zealand, China, all these like other Asia, Japan specifically, these countries, right? And that starts at noon Hawaii time, so 12 p.m. Hawaii time. And I think daylight savings is 1 p.m., right? So there is an hour lapse from the New York session to the Asia session. And a little fun fact about the Asia session is when that is the mark of the quote unquote new trading day. So I'm going to show some charts in a bit here, but specifically, that's when the new trading day begins with the Asia session. Now, as we move to throughout that time, if the market opens at 12 noon Hawaii time, at by 2 p.m. or 1400 Hawaii time, that is when the official Tokyo session opens up and they're live. But it really doesn't matter. We don't need to pay attention to that specific detail at this moment because we just want to know when is the start of the quote unquote Asia session. And that is noon. And that's when we're going to anchor our VWAP. That's going to be the anchored volume weighted average in price. So we're going to see where price is at now. Are we on the bull side or the bear side? And so what should we be watching for? When we use that indicator, the anchor VWAP, we're going to know what probabilities are in our favor. Should we long it or short it? And it also depends on the trader. Is this trader a short-term trader or long-term trader? Is he looking for swing positions? Is he scalping? I don't think he mentioned, or they mentioned how they trade, right? But just to keep it
yeah,
simple, um,
yeah,
you know, there is some considerations though when you do trade the Asia session.
yeah,
But you want to get into that one?
yeah. So there's a difference, if obviously U.S. traders, we love the New York session. Um, because it has the most liquidity, volatility. All the participants are there. You got news announcements happening there, FOMC, Fed announcements and whatnot. They always line it up during New York Open. Yes, you do have the occasional after hours announcements along with Mr. Trump's tweets. That's at all kinds of hours. But yes, we cannot ignore that side of the globe, which is the Asia session. You will notice there will be differences, depending on what you're trading too, right? If you are a Nikkei trader, that's your time to go, right? But if you're trying to trade futures, like for example ES or NQ, you're gonna notice a bit of a difference from the New York session.
Wait, quick
One
question.
of
So
its
like the Nikkei is the Japanese ES
Japanese.
basically, or S&P?
Pretty much, it's one of their main market instruments that is very liquid for them. It represents the Asian market, the Japanese market, the Nikkei. Um, But you're gonna notice differences in characteristics. So liquidity for one, it's gonna be thinner on the Asia side, right? Doesn't mean you can't get in and out, right? You're gonna just notice volume will be lower overall. There will be times where volume will get some spikes, we'll get some just out of ordinary types of movements, because but like you got COVID, right? There's going to be times where these big funds that's in New York, they're going to need to move some size during these Asia sessions. So they will contribute to the volume. But majority of the time, if you look back on your charts, and then when Reed pulls up the chart, we can look at some volume and just look at it there. So you're going to see the difference in the volume. You'll still be able to get in and out of your trades. So that brings for you to adjust what type of trading you're going to be doing. You can't be aiming for expect large moves, like 4 or 5 to 1s reward to ratio, and you can't expect those large swings during those wee hours, because the liquidity just simply isn't there. But the other thing is, like, you're literally just weighing it out. Okay, it works for your time, your schedule, but the market's a bit different. You still can trade it. Futures are 23 hours, which is good. So if U.S. equities aren't moving, then you can go to commodities, gold, oil. Sometimes the U.S. Commodities aren't going to be moving, like wheat or corn, but you want to look at the global stuff, and those could be moving as well. But yeah, that's something you want to consider making that switch from New York to Asia. You're gonna
Yeah, I
notice
always
those
think
different.
that, like, yeah, for two things, like, to add is there's always going to be a market you could trade no matter what. No matter what
Yeah,
session, no matter what time, there's always something that's moving. I mean, crypto's a good one, but something with a little bit longer history, like commodities, as you were saying, or indexes from other countries. So that is an option. And then just to reiterate, you're just going to be waiting longer. I mean, Glenn just said it, but you're going to be waiting a little bit longer. So you got to be a little bit more patient as a trader during the Asia session. Um, Speaking of volume,
yeah.
I'm gonna share screen real quick and then show you what the volume looks like. So let me just close everything we got going on up here. All right. See the screen? All right, cool. So first I want to show you the New York session. This is we don't need to see the bars real quick, but if you see towards the left of the screen, the bottom, we have a bunch of red and green bars, and like some are really high. And as the session goes on, it begins to get lower and lower, and that is literally it. That's the volume. That's how many orders are coming in and out of the market. Now, as we hit the Asia session, towards the bottom of the screen, the indicator shows very, very small, minuscule bars. Like we're talking like one eighth size
Yeah,
of the New York session. For those that don't have a visual up, trying to explain to you how it looks like. It's so small. Um, but again, it doesn't mean that there's not opportunity there. And so you just kind of got to get your mind wrapped around that. Okay, I'm gonna not be looking at the volume too much. I'm just going to be looking for the opportunity itself. Because once the opportunity itself presents, I'm going to remove the volume now so it's not a distraction. But once the opportunity presents itself, it still works out. So, for example, what I have on the chart right now is the HTA open. And in Trading View, if you have Trading View, all you have to do is click the indicators up at the top of the screen towards this top left, and you could type in HTA, and there's going to be one that's free. It's called the HTA Open. And with the HTA Open, if you go to the settings, it'll be in your top left, it'll show the inputs of like what specific anchored VWAP you want. It's an anchored VWAP based indicator. And right now on screen, I have the Asia session checked off and the start of Asia session VWAP. Um, it is all based on EST time, so the timing is a little different, but everything is set. What's cool about this indicator though is you could always change it. So let's say you did want to trade Hawaii time at 2 o'clock instead of, you just add 2 hours. That's it. That's all I'll say for the opening range. But I won't spend too much time on that. Very easy to adjust to your fitting. But you have 3 sessions that's already built in. We got the New York, Asia, and London, and Asia is checked right now. But I just want to show you how this is over a course of a year. We ran the script, and it shows that you've made $1,000 purely based off of this one specific indicator. And it may not seem like much, but that is only one contract. So if you added 4 more contracts, 5 more contracts per trade, you multiply that, that's an extra 5K. And so I'm assuming if you're trading the Asia session, or assuming is never cool, but usually it means that you're working either night shifts or you're working some other job to be trading the Asia session. And having an extra 1,000 to $6,000 to $8,000 depending on how you trade, it's a pretty nice extra piece of income that you could add to your living situation. This is a mid-range long, so anchored VWAP is stationed or is placed at the start of the day, and then whatever price is doing along those lines, that's what the action will take. So this one was a long this morning, and it was a winner. Other than that, I will say that like Asia sessions, they do trend. Obviously, today we're lucky that we're looking at it right now, that there was a little trend going on the bear side. And I think New York was also bearish. So with New York this morning, it was overall bearish. Then during leading up to the Asia session, it started to show a pullback in bullish format where you got that win at the beginning. And then towards the end of the day, up until evening time, we have another bear trend. So in other words, it was nearly a continuation trend from the New York session. And so what I'm trying to reiterate here, sometimes the Asia session will continue the trend based on the New York session. So seeing that you're trading later in the day, even though it's a new day, a lot of traders, another tip here is they'll look at the previous session to see how it performed. So was the New York session, because it had so much volume there, it's a good indicator on, hey, price. Like for example, and bearish, and there was a lot more bearish opportunity on the Asia session. It's as simple as that. If it was bullish or choppy, maybe the Asia session or London session will be bullish or choppy as well. So that's just a little piece of advice.
One thing I wanted to say too, like I actively do trade during, not like actively trade, but like I'll do put in a lot more orders during the later half of the day for us into the night. And you just looking at your chart right here, yes, from 12 to maybe 2, 3 o'clock, it's a bit slow, but you can start seeing the bars just start to pick up in size, and they start showing some strength or some participants, and then it eventually starts trending. So what I like to do is if I get a signal to get on a swing trade or a trend trade, I do like getting fills during the Asia market because it's less slippage sometimes. It's quieter. Not maybe the slippage is a little bit more, but to me, it's just quieter. If you do want to get a fill at a specific price, then you have a good chance to. So that is a positive or a pro that us Hawaii traders can utilize, and these are longer time frame trades. I mean, I'm looking at over an hour chart. Reed has a 1 minute up here, so that is another option with utilizing that, and you could just hold into the night. I think there's a post on social media. You just buy the close and sell the open. Buy the close
Yeah,
of
I
New York
saw that. It is an
and sell the
edge.
open.
Yeah, there is an
Like,
edge there.
yeah. So I mean, do the study. Just look at the charts, right? Like, just look at what the Asia session does compared to the New York close, and just see what they're uh, if there's something you can find, some correlation there. Um, but yeah, it can be done. Trading Asia session can be done. Tokyo does open up at 7 p.m., so you'll see more action. It's not going to match New York session for sure, but you got Tokyo, then 10 p.m. at London, so it all overlaps. And for some reason, it picks up over at midnight, 2 p.m., 2 a.m., all the way into New York session. So, yeah, like when we're sleeping, there's a lot of volume there. But other than that, if you're going to make that switch, main thing what we do at HTA is just having the right process, having being clear with your edge, having a written, complete trading plan. You're not just trying to find any kind of reason to enter the Asia session just because. Um, we're trying to uh, teach our members how to be aware, how to just like how to prevent taking trades because they're just bored. You don't want
Yeah.
to do that. So like you want to be intentional with trading that particular time, um, and you know it's just a whole process there. You take the same things you were doing if you were successful in New York, just transfer it over to Asia.
Yeah. Just be as mechanical as possible. It's hard to eliminate emotions completely, but we've learned that emotions are signals. So if we could identify those signals, then we can identify the proper actions to take. So that when we have a plan, as Glenn was saying, and a specific system that fits a market regime, then
Yeah.
our market climate will be able to adjust properly and act properly.
Yeah, I mean, just what Reed showed you with our HTA open indicator. It's a profitable indicator, even though it trade amount is or trade frequency is a bit low. It's still net profitable.
Oh,
So
yeah, let me one more thing to just add to that. So that was specifically the HTA mid. So this is the stats just based off of 1 year. The mid range is basically price has not broken out of the range, which the range is set within the first 15 minutes of the trading session. So for example, this Asia session opens at 12, and that the highest and the lowest will stop at 12:15. Therefore, the indicator triggered at 12:19 once price broke above the start of day VWAP with a solid
nice.
close bar. And that has a 62% strike rate and a total of 50. So that's actually pretty low though. For an entire year, you're only taking this trade 50 times.
Yeah,
That means there's a lot more patience. As we were talking about in the beginning, there's going to be low volatility and you're just going to have to sit on hands. And this is only one edge, and you could always mess around with the indicator and more edges as well. But
try pulling up like gold or something.
gold,
How
let's
does it look
see.
like?
Well, it will be correlated to another. It's updating, but it'll be correlated to MES. So MES has to match.
Oh, that's what the indicator is.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, there
so
you
there you
go.
go. So gold has 113 trades. There's more profit in the end, and there's a little higher strike rate, 63%. But and again, it's a year from today. So today's May
Hey,
18th, 26. This is
there's only
data
one direction.
for whole.
Is that
Yeah.
long and short?
Yeah, this is long and short.
Nice.
But like for example,
Yeah,
this is a great example. Like today, there was actually no mid-range trade available today.
no trades.
So today is a day where you don't trade gold, for example.
Yeah,
But
setup.
that leaves the opportunity to go to the M&Q. M&Q is profitable. Let's say you took those trades. Now you can combine those two. Now you took 160 trades. You still have a strike rate of about 60%, and your profit's going to be around 2,600 off of one contract. Now this is just one simple, safe one contract. So you don't trade one pair. You could switch it, add it to another pair, and I think let's funsies, let's go to MES. I bet you it might be negative on this one, just because that's when I play around with these numbers and everything, that's usually how it goes. But I gotta adjust this. Hold on, not accurate yet. Here we go. Oh, so you get another $500. So it is an overall profitable edge here. You got another additional 48 trades and even higher strike rate, 64%. So you're well above or well into the 60% range. Looks like MES doesn't hit a mid-range trade today either.
Yeah.
So it's M&Q only that actually triggered a trade. But that's what we mean by having a plan, using the edge as your. So this is the edges we've had, we built, we've got prop firms from, we've got paid out from, and we apply it with our real live account, and we just turned it into a script, and anyone could do that. So we just know that this works. So you got to find, if you don't have one, I mean, obviously you could use ours. It's totally cool with that too. Recommend that. It's easy to read indicator.
Yes, sir. So yes, at the end of the day, Asia session is a go. I mean, it's worth trying it out. Now, we don't want people to give up after a week of not being profitable. It's not, you got to commit, give it at least a few months, and you got to be consistent, and just so that you have a data set that you can be like, okay, you can make the call at the end, be like, okay, is it worth it? Yes or no? Do I proceed? Yes. So
sorry, I want to add to that, because let's be a little bit more specific here. I'd recommend anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Like, really, 6 months is a good golden spot. But if you're like, for some reason, feel like you need to rush it, which you shouldn't, but I know that some people got that itch, right? Give us the same system at least 3 months. You saw how little bit of trades you're actually taking for this specific indicator. So like, whatever you're doing, you guys, give it at least a quarter, give it 3 months, because also markets change. Each quarter, we've noticed lately that these cycles are turning a little bit faster, a little bit more different every single quarter. So just give it time. Like Glenn said, it's just like the Asia session will require a lot of patience. Your edge is going to require a lot of patience in the in the form of time. So that means at least 3 months, doing the same things, showing up at the same time, doing it over and over and over and over again for 3 months minimum.
Yep. And if you guys need help doing that, coming up with a whole structure, maybe you have a system and you know what to look for, but you need more accountability, you need a community, you need learning structure, and you get to peek behind the curtain of what we do with our trading. Check out our website. Go to HawaiiTradingAcademy.com/NetAlphaPro. That thing is going to be the complete system for you guys. We're not going to tell you our edges is 100% profitable. Look, we're going to teach you the process. We're going to teach you risk management, teach you the proper way to just take your idea, build upon it, be disciplined, follow the rules, and the profit should come.
Yep. The goal is to get you guys to develop your own system that you're confident in. Like Glenn, what we were showing you, we are very confident in our own systems, but you got to be confident in your own system, in your own ways, and we'll be here to help you guys. We want to see you guys succeed.
Yes. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe, share it with others, and click the links below in the description.
Thanks, guys.